Hi guys, and welcome back to Every Day with me, Nick. I'm Nick, and we're back at the sawmill today. We're going to be cutting up some larch logs today into some boards. We've got about 100 to make, so see how fast we can get through that. But I want to talk to you something before we start all of that. Something that never has really been an importance to me, and that is safety on a sawmill. It never even crossed my mind years ago about the safety aspects of everything. But you know what? Every time you pick up a chainsaw, every time you run any piece of equipment, tractors or power tools, even a sawmill, that every time you do that, that's a chance, more of a chance that you're going to have an accident. I think they call it something like the Swiss cheese theory or something like that. That the more and more you do something, that them holes start to line up, and you can potentially lead to an accident. That's my full-time workplace coming out. Tuition and you know, the way that they preach safety, which so they should. They've got a duty to take care of their employees. But I haven't thought about safety here at the sawmill, and I should do, because I run a chainsaw and I don't always wear my chaps. I have an axe and I might slip. I have nail guns, I might pierce my hand with a nail. I have circular saws that I use. I might slip, take a digit off. I just don't know. So years ago, I got this first aid kit. Now this first aid kit's a fairly substantial thing. It's not just a little, like, one that you carry on your belt. It's a good kit. Now in this kit, I've got quite a bit of gear, but I think most importantly, you've got to make a kit up that is suitable for the jobs that you're doing. So in my case, if I had an accident with a chainsaw and I hit my leg, there's a lot of main arteries and veins in your leg that will quickly, and this may sound morbid, but quickly kill you, because you'll bleed out. So in this kit, I've got things from light duty bandages for a little, you know, a sprain or a little, you know, a cut, but you put a bit of gauze on it and you just want to wrap it up, to a trauma bandages. And I think that's quite important, that you have the range of first aid equipment for the task that you're doing. So for me, I could have a very serious accident on this job site, and it is a job site because, you know, there's work going on here. But inside here, I've got all sorts of stuff, and what I'm going to have to start doing is keeping an eye on the dates, because stuff does have a use by date, or a sterile date, or a safe to use up to date. So, you know, I've got things like, I've got an eye wash, and I think that's quite imperative for in here, because there's a lot of sawdust flies around, and if you don't have the proper equipment on PPE, you might you might get something in your eye, and an eye wash solution might just help or save your eyesight. So this sterile eye wash, it's actually just ran out in December 22, so I need to replace that. But I'm sure I'll have, if I need to, in the meantime, I'm sure I'll have 1 or 2 uses within a month or two if I ever need it. But it's better to have and not want, or how's the saying go? It's better to have and not need than want and not have, or something like that. Yeah, I've got some dressing pads with bandages, you know, ambulance grade. You know, these are all in date. What else have we got here? I've got some. This is the important things. So I've got these Celox gauze. So these are a fabric dressing coated with Celox hemostatic granules for life-threatening emergency bleeding. So these are very, very important to me. You know, these could save my life, and they probably ain't cheap, but neither was this pack. So things like that is an absolute blessing for when an accident occurs. Now, I don't know, I don't want an accident, I don't want to invoke an accident, I don't even want to think about having an accident, but this is here for if I do. So it gives you instructions on the rear, you know, tear open the gauze pack, take out the roll, take end of gauze, tightly pack the unravelled Celox gauze directly into the bleeding site, pack remaining wound cavity with Celox gauze or standard gauze, apply firm pressure directly to the wound for 3 minutes. If bleeding persists, apply direct pressure for an additional 3 minutes. Wrap and tie with a bandage so as to maintain pressure to the wound. That saves lives, so it's better to have than not have. There's only one of them in there, so I may have to stock a couple more of them. That would be very handy. We've also got in this is a trauma pack, by the way, so it's packed full with trauma equipment. Trauma meaning something a little bit more severe than just a little cut on your finger. Traumatic pack. This is the SOF tactical tourniquet, 1.5 inch. This is by SOF, or Tactical Medical Solutions. Highly known, I think, in the forces. These are dangerous if you don't know what you're doing with tourniquets. These can kill you or save your life. So it's really important that you know how to use a tourniquet. Fortunately on here, it does tell you, does give you instructions, does give you step-by-steps. However, if you aren't fully aware of how to use a tourniquet, please seek some medical tuition about how to use one. Because like I say, this can either save your life or kill you. If you don't know what you're doing with you and you have this too tight for too long, that will make your blood toxic. If you release that tourniquet, for whatever reason, it will release that toxic blood back into your heart, which will give you, I think it's a cardiac arrest or something like that. It will kill you. It's been a while since I've been taught about a tourniquet. It's been a while since I learned about a tourniquet, so I do know why it's important to know what you're doing, and I also know it's, you know, what's right and what's wrong to do. So if you don't really know, I mean, I might have to refresh myself because I'm not fully up to speed. But say if I had an accident, let's say for instance, lower leg near the knee, I could use a tourniquet higher up if allowed, if it will go around me. I'm not sure what the width of this is, and I could prevent any more blood from being pumped down to the leg where the wound is. That in itself saves you, if you're able to do this, by the way, that in turn saves you from bleeding out. However, it's not good. You still need to get seen to. Now let's hope that you're in some sort of fit and able-bodiedment to be able to get on your phone for an ambulance and tell them what's going on, what's the current situation. You've got a tourniquet on and you've got that Celotex or Celox trauma bandage on, and that is currently the only thing that's saving your life apart from being on the phone to an ambulance call centre. So learn how to use the equipment properly before actually using it. This is a very valuable piece of equipment, but also a deadly one. So that's a tourniquet. What else have we got? More trauma bandages, trauma dressings. You know, that's a yeah, trauma dressing, bandages, pads. You know, it's a fair odd sizes. You know, you've just got to prepare yourself for anything that might happen. What's these ones? More trauma bandages. Like I say, with this being a trauma pack, you want you want the right gear. We've got an emergency blizzard blanket. You know, so not myself, but someone else might go into a shock. They get cold really quick. That's really something you need to be careful of. If they get too cold really quickly, that can send them into a shock and kill them. By keeping some of that heat wrapped up inside them, that might just help them. More little bandages, dressing numbers and whatnot. So yeah, we've got quite a lot of stuff there. More bandages, saline swabs, fabric tape, what else we got here? iPad dressings, finger buddy plasters, and not only this, as well as this kit come with some real good quality trauma shears. It's a 4-in-1 tool, I believe. You've obviously got your main scissor action that cuts quite good, you know, in the trauma situation. If you need to cut up a leg of a trouser leg, sorry, and they're wearing denim or they're wearing some sort of hard pack material, they're quite good. Then they're quite good. You've got a webbing cutter, I think a webbing safety knife, shall we say, but that can also cut seat belts as well. You've got a O2 wrench. I haven't opened these, this is brand new, I've not even opened them. An O2 wrench for opening up the valve, and I believe the other one was a reflex hammer, and that goes, you sort of like hold it and tap them for reflex. Not fully up to speed with reflex, how that helps in a trauma situation. I would imagine that would come if the patient, the victim, or wherever you want to call it, would be somewhat in a paralysed state. I don't know, I'm not fully up to speed with why you need to check reflex. Maybe somebody could point that one out, but nonetheless a good quality set of shears, and these are called, you know, rip shears, fastest trauma shears. So yeah, good quality set of them. Now there's some stuff in here that I haven't got, and just by doing this video with you guys, I'm going to be able to expand on my pack. Things like paracetamols, aspirin, some basic pain relief. Aspirins can also save a life. If you know someone who they thinks maybe he's having a heart attack, this is only from what I've read on various other medical stories. Giving a patient, I say a patient, it's not a patient, giving someone who's amidst of a heart attack or something like that, chewing them or getting them under the tongue or something like that, can try and thin that blood down a little bit so it doesn't have a detrimental effect from that heart attack. Just something that I need to have in there. Things like burns cream, even some of these wet bandages for burns as well. Them wet bandages can really sort of like help somebody who's had a burn situation. And let's be honest, I have fires here. That's something that might happen. So there's things like that I need to stock up on, and yeah, doing that is imperative, I think, for helping me or somebody else who might have an accident. What else have we got? There's other stuff, and you guys are probably going to be watching this and thinking, I haven't even got a first aid kit. Well, hopefully this video will help you, you know, get one together. Doesn't have to be a trauma kit. Get something that will help you save your own life or someone else's life. Get some tuition as well. See if you can get in touch with your local ambulance services or fire brigade services and see if they can put on a class, a voluntary class, that someone can teach you how to save a traumatic event that could kill someone or kill you. That way you know how to save yourself. There's nothing better than being prepared. So yeah, I know I've waffled on for nearly 15 minutes, but I think this is vital to know how to have things in place ready for an emergency. So thanks very much for watching. We're going to get the mill up and running today, so I think this is fairly vital. I'm going to have this close by. It's going to be in the caravan, but I think like I've got a caravan stored on where the sawmill is. But once this is all battened in and secured, I'll be making a shelf and making it somewhat sterile, so no sawdust and everything gets around it, and I'm going to leave it in there. You know, I might even put it in a bag, you know, or get a dry bag, you know, roll the dry bag top up, clip it up, and then at least there's no contamination from the outside, things like that. But yeah, have it close by. Don't just have this first aid kit and have it 100 yards down the road or in your house that's a mile away where your sawmill is or where anything else is. Have it local to you at the time. Having it right almost to hand is moments that you need to you can save yourself. So I've waffled on, but I've just recently things are clicking. I've got a young family, I want to be around to see them, so you know, why not? So yeah, right guys, thanks very much for watching. Be safe, be prepared, and we'll see you on the next one.